Hello everyone. I hope the last participants are joining there in the back. If we can all just take a seat and we get started with this session. Right. All right, so thanks everyone for coming. Thank you, youth and non-youth participants, friends, colleagues. We have a really exciting session today, and I'm really happy to see you all today. We're going to be talking and playing, basically, about how to build resilience together with the youth. So before we get started, we have a really important and special speaker that will open this session. So I'd like to welcome Sultan Rahim Smouda, the Special Envoy on Water Affairs for the government of the Tajikistan. So Sultan, if you might take the floor.
Thank you, Maria. Good morning to everybody. And thank you very much for inviting me and having this opportunity to address these young people and senior specialists in this beautiful day of COP27. Why beautiful? Because it is Water Day. So really it is, basically it's the first time in the history of the COPs when the water has its home, has its day in the COP, in the climate agenda. And we would like to thank the Egyptian presidency, Egyptian government, and the other partners for having water at the heart of the climate agenda. But for your session and the youth engagement, I think there are basically two unified. It was born basically by Water and Climate Coalition leaders, where Tajikistan also is an active member, and our honorable president is one of the leaders of the Water and Climate Coalition leaders. And the two maybe key wording, the first is water and climate. It's really water and climate is so interconnected because majority of the impact of climate, more than 80%, comes to us, to our economy, to our population, to our society through water. And at the same time, water plays an important role for adaptation, mitigation, and achieving climate resilience. So very glad that your network, your campaign is connected basically with this agenda, integrated water and climate. And the second key point here is the youth, of course, because you are our future. Without your support today, it will be very complicated to achieve our goals in the future. So I'm very glad that we have a very committed youngsters, young people, young generation involved or being involved in this process in water and climate for the last several years. And Unify is taking a leading role now. So you know that the government of Tajikistan also provided a platform for the youth engagement during the second Dushanbe Water Decade Conference in June this year. The conference is one of the key milestones toward 2023 conference, and I'm very glad that Unify was very well organized and presented at that conference. You in Dushanbe also adopted your action plans towards 2023 conference. And now Tajikistan and the Netherlands are happy having Unify as a key partner for bringing the youth into the platform of the UN 2023 Water Conference. So 2 days or 3 days ago, in Tajikistan Pavilion, we had also a session with involvement of the youth generation from Central Asia countries. And I joked that when I was in your age, I said, I'm young and handsome. But today I can say just and. So, no young, no youth, no beauty. But for you, you have all of this. You are young, you are beautiful, you are handsome, and you are full of energy. Please inspire us in this road with your action, because 2023 conference is a conference of action. We need transformative, innovative, impactful change and actions that will help us really to make the change, our approach, our minds, and our actions towards 2023. But for 2023 conference, we are expecting, of course, these actions, the commitments and pledges to catalyze and accelerate actions. But in 2023, we will start the new way, let's say, toward 2028, which is the end of the decade, beyond until 2030, and also beyond the 2030, because our life will not stop in 2030. And water, which is source of our life, will be, of course, again, in the high priority of the next strategic agenda of the UN or for the world community. 2023 is really very important year for all of us, for the world community, because it is the midterm review of the International Decade for Action, Water for Sustainable Development. It is the midterm review of the Sendai framework, and it is a midterm review of the SDGs. And you know, in September, UN will host also SDG Summit. And next year, there will be Future Summit also hosted by UN. And our idea, co-host Tajikistan and the Netherlands, to bridge basically our activities from Dushanbe to COP, from COP to New York, and from New York to Sendai framework, and then to SDG Summit and Future Summit together, to have water as the highest priority in the development agenda. Because water, again, is source of our life, and it is bridging basically all the societies, all the sectors, and without achieving SDG 6 and water-related goals, it would be impossible to achieve the other SDGs. It is very clear, and the message from the co-hosts of the UN 2023 conference, Tajikistan and the Netherlands, please be with us, rely on us, and we need your support, your action, and inspiration to make the new waves, big waves of water and the young generation in this process. Thank you very much, and wish you a successful day today, and looking forward to further fruitful cooperation toward 2023 conference and organizing the sessions and events in New York in March next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sultan, for those inspiring words. To get started, right, so what's UNIFY? So UNIFY stands for the United International Federation of Youth for Water and Climate. So basically, we are a platform that unites all young voices around water, and we are working really hard to bring all these voices to the UN 2023 Water Conference next year. So we still don't have the slide, right? It's okay. Let's continue. So, as I was saying, UNIFY has been working hard from the beginning of the year to bring all these youth voices, right, to next year's water conference. And for that, we've been working on a key document. It's a live document that we call the Youth Development Plan and Agenda for Water and Climate. So basically, here we prepare this large-scale survey to gather the youth perceptions towards water and climate challenges, and then we prepare a set of concrete solutions on how to solve this according to what the youth thinks as well. So the solutions are presented in the forms of policies, programs, projects, and activities that the different actors, whether that would be governments, youth organizations, international organizations, private sector, can engage and can compromise so that we can all bring together a solution to the water and climate crisis. So today, basically, we're going to be working and, let's say, playing with these concrete solutions. So we prepared this card game that we will then move into, where you will have the chance to tell us what would you do if you were one of these stakeholders. And before we go into this, I would really like to call my friend Titilayo Adebayo, who is gonna moderate a panel sessions that we're gonna have before we go straight into the game. So if I could welcome Titilayo, she's the regional focal point for Sub-Saharan Africa at UNIFY. So I'll leave you in her beautiful hands here.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. And like you heard from the opening speech, one of the most important key points today is talking about intergenerational dialogue. And when we say intergenerational dialogue, it means between the young ones and the ones before us. So this morning I'm going to start with something very youthful because this is a youth event after all. So, if you're happy you're in COP, clap your hands. If you're happy that you're here, clap your hands. If you're happy you're in COP and you're for water and climate, if you're happy you're in COP, clap your hands. A round of applause for everyone. You're welcome once again. All right, so this morning we'll be talking we have different speakers who will be sharing with us different experiences. Because growing up, there's this adage that says that if you don't know where you're coming from, you might not be able to figure out where you're going to. And from people's experiences, we can learn from them. So this morning, join me as I make welcome to the stage Dr. Megan, the Director for Climate Change, Energy and Resilience. A round of applause for her, please. And also joining us here is Professor Salmon Og. Is he here? A round of applause for him, please. He is the Director of the International Center for Climate Change and Development. And he's also a professor at the Independent University, Bangladesh. A round of applause once again for him. Of course, this afternoon representing the Tunisia Youth Delegate is Malik from Tunisia. Please, a round of applause for Malik as she takes the stage. And also joining us is Khalid Emma. He is the organizing partner at United Nations Major Group for Children and Youth, UNMGCY. Welcome. And the last but not the least, we have A.Y. Young. Is he here? A round of applause for him, please. As you can see, we have intergenerational, we have artists here, we have women represented, we have men represented, so I think we can say we are in a safe place with water and climate. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please, a round of applause for all the speakers once again. Please, technical crew, I will need a mic for the speakers. Do we have a spare mic? Oh, okay. All right. No problem. Thank you. Also, first of all, this morning, my question is to you, Dr. Megan. And we would like to hear about the importance of building resilience in cities. Why is it imperative now? And what is the role of water energy nexus in this context?
Thank you so much, and for having ICLEI here. In reflecting a little bit about what we would share in this youth session, I wanted to make it a bit personal in the sense that I've got 2 young children back at home, 7 and 4, and have been thinking about what is the future that they're going to inherit. There are some stats that say we're going to exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2033. That's when my eldest daughter turns 18. And what does 1.5 degrees Celsius globally mean for much of Africa? It means 3 degrees Celsius. And 3 degrees Celsius, if you read the latest IPCC reports, it's diabolical. But I also know that by nothing more than luck, really, in terms of where you're born, that my girls will probably be okay. Who I'm most concerned about is girls of similar age and boys of similar age born in other contexts, where they're at the front lines of dealing with already tenuous circumstances, floods, droughts, etc. And what is the future for them? So I think, for me, the importance of these conversations is to bring those individuals tangibly into the conversation. Not only just to have youth-focused sessions, but get youth into every single session that we host on an equal platform. As ICLEI, we've been running our Rise Africa Festival every year. And what this session does, what these festivals do, is really try to break down power dynamics. And I'm so glad there's going to be a game later, because these more innovative ways of engaging than, say, a panel discussion, although still useful, really help for the voices of the youth that is often quite a marginalized community are heard at the same level as the more typical players in these types of talks. So hopefully that as a first input is useful.
Thank you so much for that answer. And the next question goes to you, Professor. It says, Bangladesh is the front lines of the water and climate crisis. What do you think must be done to increase climate adaptation and to build resilience?
Thank you very much. You're quite right. My country, Bangladesh, has a population of 170 million people living in less than 150,000 square kilometers. That makes it have a population density of well over 1,000 people per square kilometer, which is usually only found in city-states like Hong Kong or Singapore or New York. And they're living in one country. The country also happens to be on the delta of two of the world's biggest rivers, the Ganges and the Brahmaputra, which regularly flood and cause devastation. And we also suffer from cyclones that come in from the Bay of Bengal. But that's the bad news. The good news is we have not been sitting idle. We have been preparing ourselves. We've known about this problem now for well over a decade. We have developed our own climate change strategy and action plan. We have developed our own climate change fund with our own funding. And we have already started a very large number of projects and activities to prepare ourselves, and particularly on adapting to the impacts of climate change. So I would say Bangladesh is probably a world leader on adaptation to climate change, and very specifically on what we now call locally led adaptation, which is empowering the vulnerable communities themselves to be the ones who take the actions and adapt and know what to do. Not telling them what to do, not coming and helping them, but enabling them to be the champions and the front runners on this. So something we would be very happy to share with the rest of other countries who are now facing similar problems. Thank you.
A round of applause for him. Thank you so much. Like you rightly said, coming up with region-specific solutions is the only way that we can go on and build a resilience that can be impactful. And that leads me to the next speaker, Malik. You have been advocating for youth inclusion for several years now. What do you think is the role of young people when it comes to actually delivering on climate actions?
Thank you, Titilayo, for your question. So young people are most vulnerable and victims to the climate change impact. We are the one feeling the emergency of the situation. Unfortunately, senior leaders failed us to deliver their commitments. So I believe here it comes the role of youth in order to make the senior leaders accountable to their actions and to their climate commitments. I believe we are the ones, the most contributors to climate action. We are the backbone of the climate actions. We are making local actions in ground on national level, but also in international levels. So when it comes to youth, we are the one contributing and driving and pushing the governments in order to deliver their commitments. I recall in 2019, I was part of an initiative developed by young people in Tunisia. We gathered together, we assembled, and we made the recommendations to our National Determined Contribution, the NDC. We made recommendation based on the gap that we found in our first NDC. And these recommendations helped the governments in order to add other sectors to the NDC. Like the tourism, the gender, it wasn't there, but due to youth, it was there. And I was able to see the surprise in the room when we presented our recommendations to the government and the UNDP. They were surprised that youth can bring the solutions. Yes, we are part of the solutions and we should be there. So if I am here today as a party delegate, this is due to all the youth that are working on ground, and they are driving the governments in order to include us in the table of negotiations. So I would like to clap and thank every one of you, all the youth, and also I invite you all to clap to each other and to clap for the youth who are present here today, because if we are making any advancement in this area, it's because of the youth. Thank you.
You couldn't have said it better, Malik. Thank you so much. If we are making any impact, it's because of the youth. And that takes me to the next speaker. Khalid, she has said a lot about youth engagement and how youth are the backbone of the climate actions. Now, you have been engaging with multiple youth groups, working with the UN. What do you think is the role of intergenerational dialogue in the UN process?
Thank you so much, Titalayo. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Maybe first let's have a look at the challenges, why we having challenges in terms of intergenerational dialogue. I think, in my opinion, one of the biggest challenges is stereotypes between older and younger generation. Older generations, in some cases, they look young people as people who lack experience or qualifications or skills, as people who are driving violence and extremes and others, and especially in this region, in Middle East. And also there is stereotype from young people about older people as a category who are gatekeeping positions and leaderships, and people who are not open for discussion or not giving enough support for young people. Second issue is issues of leadership, the gap in leadership. In this world today, we have 1.8 billion young people. This represent almost 2/3 of this population. But what is the average of our world leaders? Anyone here knows? The average of world leaders today. The 130 leaders who were with us in the leaders panel. Anyone knows? 62 years old. So we represent 2/3 of the population, but the average of world leaders is 62 years old. So here is a huge gap in leadership and decision making in terms of between younger and older generation. So do we need intergenerational dialogue? Yes, we need it, because to solve this issue that the UN was established for, we need this work and effective collaboration between these two groups. This can facilitate learning, exchanging, sharing experience and resources. Young people are more connected to the ground, working with people, working with community, and older people have experience, knowledge, and power as well. So having this intergenerational dialogue for sure can accelerate and help us to move forward in sustainable development and human rights for everyone. But exactly what we need, I think I have two quick recommendations. First of all, we need meaningful dialogue. And when I say dialogue, I don't mean consultations. Consultations is not enough. All of us have been consulted thousands of times. We need co-leadership model, where we can share power together. We can vote together. So if we look at any stages of the UN system, secretariat, agencies, water and climate coalition, unify, how we can have a co-leadership model where young people can also vote and decide and in these processes, specific the UN processes. Second, we need intergenerational solidarity. The point where Sultan spoke about when he said, we are here for you. That means a lot for young people. That's not difficult. We need the solidarity between the older generation and younger generation. We need to tell the older people that we are here for you. We are here to support you to achieve your mission. And older generation need always to support young people in honest solidarity, that we providing platform for you and to come and join us to solve this problem for our generation and an older generation, also next generations. So if we do so, we can reduce these gaps that I spoke about in terms of stereotypes and hate and gap in leadership, and we can really achieve our missions in a more effective way. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Khalid. Like you said, one of the major issues is dialogue, and we know the dialogue is through effective communication. One of the challenges right now is that the leaders have their own language, while the youth have their own language. So we are expressing the same views, but with different language. And one of the major language for youth is heart. So that takes me to the next question, AY. It says, how did you discover the power of heart as a driver for change?
Well, yeah, art, music is a universal language, right? And it can connect and bring people together. It it can kind of break down all these silos and build bridges. You know, so that's kind of how I discovered it as a universal language. And I think, you know, art, culture has to be a part of this movement to drive it forward, right? It's so crazy because, like, when I became one of the 17 United Nations Young Leaders for the SDGs, which is a really long title. No one knows what that is sometimes. Like, when I was talking to Antonio, and he was like, you probably see a video, and he's like, tell me what to do, you know, tell me what to do. Like, he was telling me about the 17 goals, you know, and I didn't know what the goals were. I spent my whole life, like, using music to, like, raise money to build these solar boxes and then bring people energy access around the world. You know, Haiti, Honduras, places in Africa that don't have power, right? So I've been using music as a vehicle for impact, which means it can work, right? But long story short, I remember looking at the goals and being like, bro, more people know, like, Johnny Depp's relationship, you know? Like, for real. Or when Kim Kardashian, like, posts something, you know what I'm saying? Like, but if you ask the average person, hey, do you know what goal 6 is? They have no idea. So, you know, obviously music, culture, art, you know, because you can plug people together and get the world, you know, power change.
Thank you so much, J.Y. That was rightly said. Music is a universal language. It's not the language of the old or the language of the young. It's a universal language. And that brings me to my next question, because right now in COP, we've seen an increase in youth participating in negotiations. And my next question is to you, Malik. We would like to hear about your experience as a young party member of the Tunisia delegation. What would you tell other young people that want to engage in the process as negotiators?
Thank you, Titilayo. So being a young negotiator and party members bring a lot of responsibilities. First, responsibility to my country, my government, and also responsibility to the people, to the young people as me, who are trusting that I will bring in their demands in the negotiations rooms. So, if you want to get engaged in the negotiations, I invite everyone to go, take this opportunity as being available at COP, and go to the country offices, ask your government to be part of the negotiations. It's a must, it's our right. They are negotiating our future, but also our present, because the decisions that are taken today is impacting the next years. So it's your right to be in the negotiation rooms. Go and ask for your right. I know, like some delegates say, it's not easy to get a party delegate. We sent emails and we didn't get any response. But today you are here. Go and ask for it. Tell your solutions. Tell why you should be part of the delegations. Tell why you need to be there. We need to negotiate about our futures. I have been in the negotiations for the past 1 week, and I can see the difference between senior negotiator and young negotiators. We are the ones who are bringing the ambition to the room. We are the ones who are bringing the solutions. So we need to be there. And we need, as someone who's coming from developing countries, we need to make the developed countries take the responsibility of the climate finance. I have been negotiating for Action for Climate Empowerment, ACE, and I can see the difference between senior negotiator and young negotiator. Again, I invite you all to go to your delegation and ask them to be included in the delegation, because it's our right. It's our right to be there. We need to be negotiating about our future. No one should be negotiating for us. We need to be the one negotiating. It's not an easy step as a party delegate or young negotiator. It's a whole preparation. For the last year, I was making capacity building training with my government in order to prepare for my negotiations. Also, before coming here, I made a presentation about my policy demands and made sure that are aligned with my country and my people opinion. So in order to present well the voices of youth there. And happy I can say that at ACU Negotiated, we made it in the text clear that we want to see youth in the decision-making processes. So this is a little achievement that I'm happy about. Also, we included financial resources which is good for us as developing countries. So if we are having more voices, more youth in the negotiations, I believe that miracles can happen. Today, I'm not very happy with what is going with the negotiations, since we are blocked in some negotiations when we bring the subject of climate finance. Developed countries wouldn't like to take their commitments. So for this, I invite all of you to take it as a call of actions. Go to your delegations and ask for your right to negotiate for your present and for your future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Malik. That was rightly said. And like you said, the senior leaders, you saw a difference between the senior negotiators and the young negotiators. And no offense to you, the senior ones in the house. The truth is just that the youth are the one at the base of the impact of this climate changes. A lot of the senior leaders are staying in 5-star houses. They're staying where there is water. They have food. So when we talk about drought, they don't really know firsthand the experience of drought. But for young people, we are at the base of it. And that takes me to the next question for you, Doctor. Because we've seen that to come up with region-specific solution, everyone must be involved. Either you're young or you're old or you're a baby. This water connects everybody. We can decide today not to eat meat and go vegan. We can decide today not to take the bus and ride bicycles. But none of us here can decide never to use water, because this is part of our life. So this takes me to the next question to you, Dr. Megan. What advice do you have for young professionals seeking to break into or further develop in the climate field?
Thank you so much. And just to say to my fellow panelists, so inspired by your inputs. Advice would be, and I think that's what the panelists have been saying, be bold. Be bold and keep fighting and keep bringing your voice into the conversations. And when certain doors are closed, knock on others. I think that's what I've seen, at least in my engagement here at this COP, in terms of how youth are engaging. So I think what we can do, on the other hand, is open more doors, create more spaces, and find ways that it goes beyond talking. And just in relation to that, in fact, across the way at the Multi-Level Action Pavilion, this morning at the same time, there's a platform being launched called the African Cities Water Initiative. And later this afternoon, an announcement that we're going to be mobilizing $5 billion into this fund. And what I would most like to see in this fund that's focused on water and Africa is how are we tangibly making sure that when, in particular, those funds are spent, they're spent in a way that makes sense to those youth that are facing the impacts. So I think the call from our side would be, let's go beyond talk. And whatever role that ICLEI can play as our main role in coordinating subnational government input into things like COP, we are a willing partner, and we'll do whatever we can with the platforms that we have access to and the networks we have access to bring that youth voice in, but then for me, much more importantly, allow it to influence action on the ground, allow it to influence how money flows and where money flows, because you're absolutely right. Making decisions in air-conned hotel rooms and venues really is, yeah, it's an equity issue. So thanks for the question.
Thank you so much. She said they are opening doors, they are opening spaces for youth to come in and take their place. But if you find yourself like me in COP, when I came into the arena, it was overwhelming for me. I didn't even know at first where to go or where to start from. And so that takes me to the next question, Khalid. She said they are opening doors and spaces. What are the spaces that young people can occupy to make their voices heard?
Thank you so much, Titalayo. I'm not going to say, let's go to COP and participate in the UN processes, which is important. I have been working with the UN in the last 5 years in the youth participation, and the best solution or best practice I have seen from young people that involve with ordinary people. I think the main strength for young people now that we are connected to the ground. The UN Security Council, for example, cannot solve a small conflict happening in a village in in Syria. UNCCC cannot access my small village here in the south of Egypt. So this is our strengthening as a young people. As much as we involve and work with these communities and create a public value for them, as much influence and impact we can make. We might think about finance, which is absolutely important, but finance for what? What kind of public value we can really make for these people, and use these spaces that the UN and international institutions based in New York or in Geneva or in Brussels cannot access. This is our strength. So if we mobilize our movement to work in the ground and include all stakeholders, people in small villages, people who are marginalized and didn't get access to education, people who are suffering from poverty, I think leaders will listen to us because we have the people. When you create a public value for people, people will give you in return legitimacy and support. And that will force the stakeholders and the power holders to listen to you and involve you. And here we can show evidence about how do we use this money. And as I mentioned, finance is an issue, and 97% of youth organizations around the world operate within paid staff, which is unfair. But some practice we did was micro-granting, giving $3,000 and $2,000 for youth-led organization in Nigeria and in Myanmar and in Sudan. Young people showed evidence about how much impact they can make with a small amount of money. The UN came to us and saying, let's renew this, let's replicate this. And here we are making this youth voices useful by making the impact on the ground. So I would say again, just in a short, use the spaces in the ground. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Use the spaces on the ground. And this takes me to our final question, because I remember one professor was talking. He said they go to these local communities. They don't tell them what to do, but they tell them to come up with ideas which are region-specific, which can help developing communities to come up with, because they understand the problem better, and that is the same for the youth. So coming to you, AY, what would you tell young artists that wants to engage in climate action but don't know where to start?
Yeah. So she was like, what do you tell young climate activists who might not know where to start, but they want to get active? I would say change starts with passion. You know what I'm saying? What you're passionate about. But in order to know what you're passionate about, what you love to do, which I think we should be doing every day, right? What else is life for? You know what I'm saying? You need to know what your why is, what drives you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, here's an example. People come to me all the time like, AY, I want to be a rapper. I want to be a social media influencer. I want to be, a TikToker. And I'm like, why? You know what I'm saying? When they start diving into it, they might be like, oh, shoot, like, I like attention, right? You know what I'm saying? Then you can dive more into yourself and be like, okay, why do I like attention? Oh, shoot, I like attention because, like, my dad wasn't around when I was younger. Right? So when people give me attention, when I'm on the stage, when I'm rapping, or when I'm, on TikTok, I feel good. Now you know your why, right? So you might not have to be a climate activist, right? You might not have to be a rapper or an influencer, right? You can then figure out what your passion is. Then it's just the whole trick is taking your passion and doing it every day, right? And in my opinion, you should be using your passion to power change, right? So mine was music. So then I was like, how can I use music to help people, bring people energy, bring people food, bring people water? Maybe your stuff is like being a ballerina. I don't know, you love to dance. I don't know, maybe it's like you like to write. Then how can you use the writing to then be an activist, right? That's how you do it. Okay, cool.
All right, thank you so much, AY. So you find your passion, you find why, and when you know why, then you can know what to do, because the end justifies the means. So you know the end before you start the means, all right? And so with this last one, I would like to say the taste of pudding, it's in its eating. So AY has told us how to start. He has said what he's achieved so far. I think we don't mind watching him perform for us, right? And anyone interested? Yes. Do I have youths in the house? Yes. Are you sure? Make some noise! Over to you, AY. I would like to see you perform.
I think they're going to show a video. Is that okay, guys? A little video?
A local hip-hop artist makes an international name for himself. He is the first artist to power his concert with 100% renewable energy.
It is a real honor to recognize Mr. A.Y. Young, the founder of Battery Tour.
It's incredible. Can't wait for you to see this. The United Nations is now throwing its support behind him.
Mr. Young has made a big impact in his young life, born in 1991. He's a singer-songwriter, a dancer, producer, entrepreneur, and sustainability advocate. He's staged and performed more than 800 concerts. He was named by the United Nations recently as one of 17 youth world leaders of the world, the only individual selected for that honor from the United States.
To stimulating this local economy further, bringing entrepreneurs together, bringing businesses together, bringing the world together so we can make some change.
I'm here to listen. Don't ask me questions. Tell me what to do. Give me ideas.
My mission is to kind of break down these silos, these barriers, and build bridges to power collective action by bringing everyone together. It's going to be incredible.
My work plan's in 3 different phases. I'm going to make an album powered 100% by renewable energy.
Right now, A.Y. Young is working on an album based on the 17 United Nations goals. Major stars like Tech-9 and Billie Eilish will collaborate.
This will be the one called Tech-9, and I am part owner of Strange Music, and right now a part of Goal One, baby.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. There are 700 million people that are still living in poverty.
The whole premise of your music is about collaboration
100%.
and about getting excited. It's about going across the finish line.
I don't think anyone can disagree that everyone needs to have access to energy, water, food. And my belief is that everyone in the world, we're all these outlets for change.
Yeah. What's up, guys? You good? Okay. I was like super nervous because this is Water Day, so I switched up my whole set, and I want to do the water anthem because I made one song for each goal for 6, and I've never done it. Is that okay? Like, so let's just try it out. Like, why not? Yeah, let's hit it. Let's try it.
Water. Whoa. 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 Hey. So many people like me. I never feel the cool of water. Is that alright to you? So many people with an empty cup that's only filled on tears. Is that alright to you? 'Cause life is water. So fill my cup. I'll drink to that. 'Cause this is what we get. As far as water, it's the missing link.
It's a real chill one.
I'll drink to that. 'Cause this is what we get. Like
you guys ready?
Water. The taste of symphonies exist to end with song. It's spiritual, a miracle, miracle. My body shuts down without you. My world wouldn't turn on its axis.
I think water is
a miracle, miracle. We all need to drink its life,
right?
and worth its weight twice in gold.
What's up, Pooja? Hello.
See, we all need clean water to drink, so I toast for freedom. It's worth its weight twice in gold. If I die young, take my physical, burn it to dust, and please let go all my flaws and addictions. I know I'm not perfect. Sometimes I stumble and fall, but we all need, and you're the only one. Water.
You guys feeling good?
So fill my cup.
Good so far?
I'll drink to that. Cause this is what we get. Fall as water. It's the missing link.
I'm trying to put Jaden Smith on this one by the end of the year. You guys know Jaden Smith. And the artist Adele. Verse 2, this is kind of a longer one.
Hey. The taste of symphonies exist to ebb and flow.
Yeah.
It's spiritual.
I think it's
a miracle. My body shuts down without you. My world would turn on its axis.
Yeah. What's up, brother? Make some noise for my brother right here.
Die young, take my physical, burn it to dust, and please let go all my flaws and addictions. I know I'm not perfect. Sometimes I stumble and fall, but we all we need, and you're the only one.
Make some noise, you guys having a good time? We really got to make sure everyone has clean water, right? It's like an essential piece. This is Water Day. I thought it would be a good time to like try it out. Get the music up a little bit more. Just a little more. When we leave this room today, we tell people,
cause life is water, so fill my cup. Hey, I'll drink to that, cause this is what we get. The fall has water, it's the missing link. Cause we'll drink to that, cause this is what we get. Life needs water. Hey, we need water. We need water. We need water, baby. Hey, we need water, baby. Hey, we need water, baby.
Huh? I was sung. Oh my gosh, you guys rock. Brother, last one, you can roll it. Goal 17.
Look who's made a minds up.
This is goal 17, guys. You can stand up. This is the Resilience Hub. Youth is here. I call this We Can Change the World, yeah?
Teachers, leaders, dreamers, let's go.
It's gonna take all of us. Join together.
They always take the right away.
Okay, you guys can sing it with me. Make the whole cop hear it. Sing it out. Go.
We can change the world.
You got it?
Is that a lie they told us? We can change the world. So shine a light back on it. We can change the world. Yeah, but we got to come together now. We got to come together now.
So got.
See, I don't like it any more than you do.
But in your ignorance, that bliss is void.
Cause it's about time, be humble and realize that we are one and the same, unique and one of a kind. Whoa, brighter days come ahead when we join together.
Put your best foot forward, go and make an effort.
They call me AY, I spoke to Akon. Marvin Gaye, we in the grapevine. Let's have a great time. Let's change the world.
You guys good? You guys sit? It's a little hot, right? Let's hear your voice, because I've been singing this all week. For goal 17, let's let Paul McCartney hear. We try and put him on. Here we go.
Yo, we can change the world. Sing it out right now. Hear me talking. We can change the world. White, black, red, everybody singing. We can change the world. So we got to come together now. Hey, we got to come together now, right? Hey, we got to come together now. Got to come together now. Oh, we've got to come together now. Oh, we've got to come together through the wind and stormy weather. Oh, we've got to.
Last one, guys. Then I'm out of here. It's your go. Go. That's so tight. It's like with that one, huh? Okay. Let's do the anthem for Goal 13. You guys ready? Here's the anthem. Hey, say the planet. We gon' say the planet. Everybody looking at me like I'm from another. Woo! Say the planet, girl. You gon' say the planet, but everybody looking at you like you're from another planet. Yeah, see, say the planet. What? We gon' say the planet. What's up, Pooja? Make some noise for her. She's changing the world. Say the planet. We gon' say the planet. Okay. I'll talk to you one more time. Hey. They acting like we from another planet, Mars. They say climate change ain't a thing. What they talking about? What they know about that? What they carbon offset? We just wanna act. We ain't sitting back, right? Solar power, wind and solar power. Everybody need the energy. Let's store it up and power the world. Recycle. We need more recycle, but they acting like them followers on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, TikTok. Make some more noise, you guys. Good? Yeah. Yo, the sound crew is awesome. Make some noise because they've been fighting all week. Brazilians, Anastasia. We made another moment, guys. All right, guys, I got like more performances all week. I'm AY. This one's really for you, though. One more time. You got it? Hey. Say the planet. We gon' say the Sing, go. Say the planet. We gon' say the planet. Say the planet, what? We gon' say the planet, what? Everybody looking at me like I'm from another. Sing it out, go. Say the planet, what? We gon' say the planet. Everybody looking at me like I'm from another. Go, go, sing it out. Say it, help us out. We gon' say the planet. Everybody looking at me like I'm from another planet. Yeah. Okay, guys, we can't forget about the ocean, right? Last line, here we go. The ocean is alive, baby. Hey, so keep the plastic out. Don't forget about the ocean, baby. It's alive, so keep the plastic. Let's not forget about the ocean, baby. Right, let's keep the plastic out, baby. Hey, the ocean is alive. Good job. Last time. Here we go. Yeah, say the planet. We gon' say the planet. Hey, say the planet. COP27 gon' say the planet. If we come together, maybe, baby, we can say the planet. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for that wonderful performance. So can we all echo, let our actions flow for tomorrow. Let our actions flow for tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Woo, what energy, right? Please, let's take a seat again. Thank you so much, AY. All right. Okay, picture time seems like. I also want to be in the pictures, guys, but we need to keep on with the with the session. Thank you so much, AY. All right, all right. Woo, it will be hard to get back your attention after that. But if we could please sit down and just go on into actually saving the world, as AY was saying. So, because we're gonna play, we're gonna brainstorm, we're gonna give our ideas on how we're gonna actually do this, how we're gonna actually make this happen. So, if we could go into a very, 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 very quick slide that I will tell you on how we're gonna go about this. So, as I was telling you in the beginning, at Unify, we're preparing the Water and Climate Youth Development Plan and Agenda, which focuses on specific policies, programs, projects, and activities that are going to bring solutions. And today, we're actually going to play with a set of these, what we call PPPPA. Lots of P's there. So you guys are going to be playing a card game with all of these ideas for building resilience. So we selected the PPPPAs that are linked to resilience building so that you tell us how you would actually make this happen. So I'm gonna be explaining the game really briefly. So we have the virtue of having amazing moderators as well on the virtual platform of the Resilience Hub. So I'd like to really thank Dr. Isabella Spindola from the International Water Association for joining us. She will be your virtual moderator, together with Ellie McBurney, who is a water professional in Arupt, and Belina Egespi, who is a youth officer at the Global Resilience Partnership. So they will be guiding everyone there that is joining remotely through the virtual platform, through the discussion virtually. And then for the people here in the room, we have our beautiful team of moderators from Unify. Just moderators, please stand up there. We have Dr. Jonas, Zainab, Anj, that are going to be guiding you through the game. So how is this going to happen? So basically we have two sets of decks. Deck 1 is a list of concrete actions for building resilience, and Deck 2 poses a triggering question for each one of the participants that will be assigned randomly. So we're gonna be rearranging the room in groups of 6 so that we can have these more intimate discussions. And the moderators will be giving you a card with one activity that you will be discussing and a random triggering question that will assign, which is the question that you have to respond. But one of the first things that I want to make clear here is that this is a safe space. No one has the right answers. There are no right answers or anything. We just want to brainstorm. We want to hear your perspectives. We want you to be inspired by taking all of this that has been said in this beautiful panel, taking what Young transmitted to us, and just take whatever it comes out of you. That will be your valuable voice, and we really want to hear that. So if the moderator, please, will help me to rearrange the room in groups of 5 or 6 so that we can start this discussion. And for the virtual participants joining online, we have Jay, who will be sharing the screen, and we have our amazing virtual moderators who will be guiding this discussion virtually. We hope to hear from you back in, let's say, 20 minutes, because we are a bit behind with schedule. So in 20 minutes, we reconvene and we share the perspectives. So if everyone has a seat already, we'd like to go into the open forum. So if we could take a seat and then we can continue. Right? So first of all, we'd really like to hear about what's been happening in the Resilience Hub virtual platform. What have your inputs have looked like? And for that, we're going to have our moderators from the virtual platform to be sharing some insights there. So I presented them already, but here you can see their beautiful faces. So we have Ellie, Isabella, June, and Belina. Thank you so much for joining, for representing the International Water Association, the Global Resilience Partnership, and Arupt in this session today. So if we could have, I think Ellie is going to share some of the insights of what's been happening in the virtual space so that we can know more about that. So Ellie, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Maria. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, good, fantastic. So we had the mirror board going a little bit crazy during that session. Unfortunately, we couldn't sort of see the virtual participants and interact with them directly, which would have been really fun. But what we did get to do was just have a few points pop up on the board. So Isabella had some really good points around how to support existing youth leadership in the global majority world, global south, in water and climate resilience work. And so she's noted there the 30-30-30 youth target commitment. And Isabella, I might let you just say a quick word about that if you wanted to share.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Maria, and thank you, Ellie. So the 30-30-30 youth target was launched actually during Dushanbe, and it refers to the supporting implementation of at least 30% of youth below 30 until 2030 in all decision-making process, also related to funding opportunities to enhance the participation, starting in the water sector, but also go beyond of it. So it can include the climate sector, the biodiversity, but it's a clear target to promote this youth engagement. Yeah. Thank you, Ali.
Thanks, Isabella. Thanks. I thought you'd be best to speak on that. Thank you. And yeah, we had some other comments around setting a common agenda, sort of this two-pronged approach for increasing youth involvement in sort of increasing the passion and the interest amongst youth in the water and climate space and pulling them into thinking about these higher level sort of direction topics, but then also increasing their skills. And so that's through things like sort of graduate programs, like the ones we've got here at Arup, some information sessions, kind of just breaking down some of the silos and those walls that currently exist between youth that might be interested in this sort of work and those that don't quite know about it yet or want to understand more about what that pathway into the sector looks like. So that was our little summary. Yeah, look forward to hearing from yours.
Thank you so much, Ellie, Isabella, Belina, and June. Of course, thank you so much for giving those insights. And amazing that you brought up the 30-30-30 campaign, which we are all advocating for in the road towards next year water conference. And it's, of course, part of the Youth Development Plan and agenda. So now I'd like to hear about everyone here in the room. So from the group that was sitting here in front, who'd like to tell me a little bit about what's been discussed? Yes, Jeff.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so my name is Davila. I'm the regional youth focal point for Oceania within Unify. In regards to our group, some of the questions that we had received was, how can we secure youth involvement in drafting and implementing national adaptation plans? Within our group, the solutions that were provided was raising awareness, promoting partnerships, and providing youths with resources to assist them in engaging in various climate events and to even implement better and more sustainable projects. The next section that we went through was, how can we increase youth employability in water and in the climate sector? In regards to this, some of the solutions are, again, increasing awareness, scaling up programs, policies, programs, projects, and activities, empowering youths to be a part of Unify, and creating their own subsidiary organizations within their own country, and like being the national focal points or creating their own Unify chapter. The next part that we discussed was, how can we promote youth eco-entrepreneurship in water and climate? And the solutions or the comments that was received was that youths are creative and they have the potential to create innovative solutions. And as such, we should include them in various projects, and they should work together with various stakeholders, various organizations and international organizations. We also stated that they should maximize the use of technology, as this is the age where technology is very important, and the way that we use it can influence youths, not just within our country, but those around the world. And so using technology in a way to promote our projects, activities, and other policies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Davila. Thank you so much. So maybe someone from the group over here. Hey, if you could introduce yourself, yeah, and give us your insights in 1 minute, please.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry. Thank you for that. Yes, we didn't take notes. I think in our group we were not as serious as them. So, but yes, I'm Alphonse. I'm Alphonse Muia. I'm from Kenya, and in our group here we had quite an interesting discussion on how to foster cross-sectoral cooperation across the water, food, and energy nexus. And then there was a common understanding that water lies in the middle of this. So if we address the water crisis issue, then we'll have addressed the energy crisis, we'll have addressed the food, because we were trying to reflect on some words of Sylvia Earle from United States. She says that no green without blue, and that's very true. And then there was also a clarion call for young people to really partner and network and connect and share success stories and then learn from each other. That way, because in our group, for example, we had an interesting, I would not call it, representation, but diversity. We had excellent diversity, like bringing in members from different parts of the world. So through this, we can learn a lot from each other and come out with solutions that we can, replicate some things that are done elsewhere and then work in different contexts. Another thing that came out of our discussions was to build, to abolish the silo approach in addressing these issues. Like, for example, I just kind of demystified how these issues are connected. I mean, issues of water, issues of energy, issues of food. Because you'll need, especially in hydroelectric power, you'll need water. In the case of food production, you'll need water. And then right now we have dwindling water resources that are also bringing in conflicts and all that. So if we can address these issues in a very unified way and abolish the silo approach that we currently see, discussions of water in water world, energy in the energy world, food in food world, and bring the discussions together, then we'll be able to have a better progress in terms of addressing all this. And then research development is also key, ensuring that we make use of the best possible research and technological instruments that are available can really help us leapfrog to this, resilient world that has got, is addressing water crisis. Because we see right now we can reuse water. We can, someone said that water, for example, also, sorry for taking a little longer. Well, water also needs to be washed after getting dirty, and that water can be used if we have better technologies to do that. So thank you so much. That is much from our group. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is this on? All right, there it goes. Thank you so much for your insight. It's amazing. I mean, I think this space has brought us all together, and from different nationalities, different ages, different regions of the world. So I think it's a very, very valuable space, and we appreciate the Resilience Hub for inviting us and having us. So just one last, but very, very short contribution to the discussion. Who would like to volunteer? Very short, please. We need to close. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think all the points being raised before are really valid, and it's like really great to see everyone here contributing. So we have a group of attendants from parts of Africa, parts of Asia, and I'm personally from Australia, but I think at the end of the day, it's fostering a collaborative communication between all parties. And firstly, it is about, someone has said before, breaking silos. We can't live in our silos. We have to be talking, communicating, and just sharing our ideas. Each of us come from different backgrounds, different countries. Our environment is definitely unique. But at the end of the day, everyone can learn something out of this. Your story, your thoughts may not be completely applicable to other places, but this can definitely inspire other people in other places of the world to think differently. And one other point that I really took home was about data and technology. We need data, we need technology to help us fasten this movement towards climate change, climate action, and today for water. We need technology to monitor, to track, otherwise we will never know how we are progressing, where we should be heading next. So I think it's just everyone, different sectors. We have governments, private sectors, youth, and it's like everyone have a role to play. So it's just about collaborating with each other and having an open mind, willing to listen to other people's opinion, and perhaps governments and private sector providing a platform to facilitate this process. Yep, thank you so much.
Amazing, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yeah, some of the words: technology, need for data, breaking silos, cooperation. I think we're all on the same page here, and our note takers and moderators have been writing down all of your ideas, all of your contributions, so that we make sure that those are also parts of the Youth Development Plan and Agenda, and that we can bring all of those to build commitment in next year UN 2023 Water Conference. So what's happening in terms of the YDPA? Just to wrap up, we are started building commitments. We are started engaging with the different governments, different institutions to see the youth represented in next year's Water Conference. And with that, I would like to thank you so much, everyone, for participating. Thank you our partners here at the Global Resilience Partnership, EnviroAlly, ICLEI, Iowa. Thanks especially to the Resilience Hub. I'm Maria Curi. I'm the regional focal point for Latin America at Unify, and I would invite you all now to go and take your lunch. Thank you so much for joining us today.